You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. So Brian Kelly met with the media after practice on Saturday. Of course, we've talked about it a bunch. First practice, I was open to the media, fully open, start to finish, and since Jared DiNardo was the coach here. And what was interesting listening to Brian Kelly after practice on Saturday wasn't so much about individual players, but more overarching philosophy and mindset and attitude and approach. And that's kind of where they are. It feels like where you should be 5 practices into your first spring when you inherited a team that had back-to-back 500 seasons and 39 scholarship players to the bowl game, and you've had to add 17 mid-year enrollees. And Brian Kelly kind of started with that, like where their focus is right now.
I'm so excited because I'm teaching our guys how to prepare, and I really can't worry much about, who's the number 1 corner, who's the second quarterback, who's the number 2 left tackle, because all the work here is in our preparation and how we're practicing and preparing the right way. So when we get into the season, I'll know that if we're preparing the right way, all that other stuff will take care of itself. That, by and large, is where we're at right now. And I'm not really concerned about who the starting corner is and who the starting left tackle is. That will take care of itself and kind of sort itself out as we get, further into spring ball, preseason camp, and our opener against Florida State.
It's kind of weird, right? Because it's counterintuitive. Like we're here like frothing, wondering who's winning position battles, and they're just not there. It's just not about that right now. You have a guy that's in there trying to instill a culture and good habits and work ethic in this team before he can even figure out who's going to play where. So, we're all familiar with most of the guys on this roster. They're still learning them all and how they're going to all fit in. So it does make some sense. Brian Kelly was asked if there's been anything so far that surprised him about his team.
No, I don't know that I'm surprised. I like their willingness to adapt to each day. There's been a lot for them to handle. This is quite different for them. Different in the way that we're preparing them. I think they've done a really good job with routines because we've changed their routine. And routines are about, I got to do this at 12. I got to be here at 3. But they have habits that have been instilled in them as well. And we're trying to reshape habits, and that takes longer. And I think what I'm most pleased with is that they're willing to do away with old habits and at the same time stick to some of these routines that we've built in. So I don't know that surprised as much as pleased with their willingness to do what's necessary, in my opinion, to be a championship team.
You see what I mean? Like, he's not talking about what positions are thriving, where he's excited about the talent. Like, it's none of that. It almost feels like if you're an artist and you walk in on the first day and you're looking at the materials that are there for, or if you're a contractor and you're looking at all the different fixtures that you have to put the finishing touches on this home. Like, that's where he is. He's more excited about what he gets to work with and how he's molding this clay. I know that's really abstract and probably sounds a little dumb, but I don't know that you can take it any other way. If you're Brian Kelly, I don't think you can just fast forward the growth process. Like, you've got to go through this and understand this is a guy that left a team that was in the conversation for the playoff. And he inherits a team that's had back-to-back 500 seasons and had 39 scholarship players to the bowl game. Brian Kelly took a major regression, leaving Notre Dame, which he had established for more than a decade, and inheriting LSU, which, of course, I believe the ceiling is far higher, but its current state is far behind where Notre Dame is. So I think it's kind of encouraging listening to him talk as well, because he kind of sound energized. Like, the challenge of what's at hand has kind of got him juiced a little bit as well. They did ask about install. So, where are they in that process right now?
We've thrown a lot offensively at him. Anytime you have, a different system, there's going to be a learning curve there. Again, I think what I'm most interested in is retention. They're going to make mistakes. But I think what we're evaluating is who are the guys that are able to retain the information, and then what kind of learners are they? Are these guys that do they learn by watching film? Do they learn by walkthrough? Do they learn by taking reps? So we're kind of working through that process right now. So, this is our 5th practice, and we're getting a better understanding of, say, for example, how Nussmeier learns versus how, Brennan learns. And that's kind of the process that we're in right now.
If there's one guy that is interesting to see where he is, it is Miles Brennan, who, another head coach, another offensive coordinator, who, look, I mean, he was recruited by Cam. He was here under Matt Canada. He went through Ensminger, the change this past year with Peets, and now Denbrock. I mean, it has been a lot of change for Miles Brennan. And Brian Kelly was asked kind of about Brennan being a quarterback who has the opportunity now to play under an offensive-minded head coach.
Well, I think that was part of the reason that he shared with me that he decided to come back. I think that, he wanted to be in a system where the head coach was involved with the quarterbacks. Part of the system is certainly quarterback friendly. The head coach is involved in it. I think that had a lot to do with it. And, he's a Tiger, I mean, he loves LSU, and, you can see he's in so much better shape. He's physically in a good spot. Mentally he's in a good spot. And, he's a veteran, and that is such a great commodity to have in college football today.
That's very true. Where transfers are the norm, to have a guy that's his 6th season is just crazy. By the way, if this video we're playing, I don't know if you could show this again, Paulie. By the way, courtesy of Jacques Doucet of WAFB, who posted this video on Twitter. It's Brennan and the quarterbacks taking reps and throwing the football. But that's Marlon Martinez who's snapping the football there. So we did hear that Brad Davis is trying to cross-train 6 different guys at center. And Charles Turner is sort of the guy that we all are thinking is probably going to win that job. But there's Martinez playing a position he hadn't played since he's been on campus yet, but he was there. I'm not making anything of this, just other than he was the one snapping the football there to the quarterbacks in that drill. So one of the guys we know that is working and rotating there at the center spot is Martinez. And who knows? I mean, Brian Kelly said pre-spring they're not done they need tight end. And they're not done on the offensive line. So if there's a tight end, if there's a starting caliber center out there that they could add in the transfer portal, I think they'd have to look at it. So just a few thoughts from Brian Kelly here as they're a third of the way through spring drills here. It's still a few weeks away from the spring game. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.